Alabama. Coming May 4th, 2026, Sweet Home Cannabama Radio gets a reboot with ongoing appearances by Papa Snoop and Dr. Dan, special segments for veterans, seniors, recovery, and the latest information about plant medicine. We are giving you more. Join us every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central on FM Talk 106.5 on the Gulf Coast, or watch us live on YouTube.
Five years later, after the legislature approved a medicinal cannabis program in the state of Alabama, it looks like one will finally be opening in the first week of May. With more on this heavily anticipated moment and long overdue moment, here's Jennifer Boozer-Stewart.
I'm Jennifer Boozer-Stewart, reporting for Alabama with Cannabis Coast to Coast News. Alabama is just days away from a historic milestone. After nearly 5 years of delays, legal battles, and regulatory resets, the state's first medical cannabis dispensary is officially set to open its doors May 4th. Callie's Apothecary in Montgomery will become the first licensed retailer to serve patients under Alabama's tightly regulated medical cannabis program, marking a turning point in access for thousands across the state. The Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission says Callie's Apothecary has completed its compliance checks and is ready for patient intake. The facility is designed with pharmacy-level security, from ID verification at the door to extensive camera and lighting systems, all part of the state's strict oversight requirements. But the launch of retail sales isn't the only major development happening behind the scenes. Alabama's in-state medical cannabis supply chain is finally moving. Native Black cultivation, led by CEO Antoine Mordican, has officially completed the state's first legal sale of harvested medical cannabis biomass, sending its initial batch to processor Homestead Health earlier this month. Mordican, who grows and harvests medical cannabis in Bessemer, confirmed that the first shipment of cannabis flower, referred to as biomass under Alabama law, was delivered on April 10th for extraction and product formulation. Because Alabama prohibits smokable and vape products, processors will convert this biomass into tablets, tinctures, oil patches, and state-approved peach-flavored gummies. Each batch undergoes multiple rounds of testing before it can be sent to dispensaries, a process that takes typically 2 to 3 weeks. Homestead Health says it aims to have finished products ready for delivery by early May, aligning with Callie Apothecary's opening day. For patients, this means Alabama's medical cannabis program is finally becoming real. With only about 66 patient cards issued so far, and roughly 40 to 50 certified physicians statewide, early demand is expected to grow steadily as more dispensaries open and more doctors complete certification. And as the state steps into this new era, one Alabama-born media platform is stepping forward with it. Sweet Home Cannabama Radio, the state's leading voice for hemp cannabis policy and Southern agricultural advocacy, is launching our new and improved show on May 4th, the same day as Callie's Apothecary opens its doors. The revamped program will feature ongoing interviews with Vernell Vernado, known to many as Papa Snoop, and Dr. Dana Lillistool, bringing audiences deeper insight into cannabis culture, patient stories, and evolving legal landscape. The timing is no coincidence. As Alabama's medical cannabis industry finally becomes operational, Sweet Home Cannabama is positioning itself as the state's go-to source for education, transparency, and community conversation. With the first dispensary opening, the first legal harvest processed, and the first wave of patients preparing to access treatment, May 4th marks the beginning of a chapter in Alabama's healthcare and agricultural economy. And Sweet Home Cannabama will be there every step of the way. Join us every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central on FM Talk 106.5 or watch live from our Sweet Home Cannabama YouTube channel. I'm Jennifer Boozer-Stewart, reporting from Alabama for Cannabis Coast to Coast News.
Hey, Cannabama fans, are you lost and looking for a licensed hemp retailer in Mobile and Baldwin County? Look no further. Cloud9 Vapes has 2 licensed locations, one in Sims and one in Daphne, and are now serving up the relief you need. From edibles and drinks to vapes and topical creams, Cloud9 has the products you need on both sides of the bay, with more to come. Go to cloud9vapesllc.com for more information.
Change doesn't wait. Why should you? Welcome to the Gaia Guild, Global Action Impact Awareness. At GaiaGuild.com, thousands are coming together. Creators, innovators, changemakers, building a future that matters. Your membership unlocks events, classes, and connections that spark action. And explore the G3 collection and exclusive guild merch at GaiaGuild.shop. This isn't just talk, it's movement in action. Gaia Guild. Join today. Become a guilder. Visit GaiaGuild.shop.
Coming May 4th, 2026, Sweet Home Cannabama Radio gets a reboot with ongoing appearances by Papa Snoop and Dr. Dan, special segments for veterans, seniors, recovery, and the latest information about plant medicine. We are giving you more. Join us every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central on FM Talk 106.5 on the Gulf Coast, or watch us live on YouTube.
It's time for Sweet Home Cannabama, a show that will answer all your questions, provide accurate information, and dispel the myths of cannabis and hemp. You can have your specific questions answered by emailing Jennifer Boozer Stewart at gmail.com or text or call 251-343-0106. And now, for all things cannabis in Alabama and beyond, here's your host, Jennifer Boozer Stewart.
Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Jennifer Boozer Stewart. I'm your host here at Sweet Home Cannabama Radio, right here on FM Talk 106.5 out of Mobile, Alabama. But you can hear us in Pensacola, Florida, and Biloxi, Mississippi, and several counties north of us. So we are talking to a lot of people every week about hemp and cannabis, not only in Alabama, but around the country and around the world. So welcome to the show. We're here every Monday night at 7 o'clock. And you can also watch us live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, LinkedIn, all the things. So if you do not live in the South Alabama area, you can still tag along with us and, go along for the ride, because you never know what we're going to do. I want to go ahead and welcome back my guest tonight, who is in studio. You know, we had in studio guests last week, but it is really rare to have somebody in studio compared to out of state. So welcome back, John Fischer.
Thank you. Welcome to be here. Glad.
And I want to go ahead and thank our sponsors, Cloud9 Vapes. They are one of only two businesses that I know of in the Mobile and Baldwin County area that have a license to legally sell hemp products. They are selling hemp products at their Sims location, their Daphne location, and two in Mobile, one on Airport Boulevard, just down the street from the studio here, and Rangeline Road in Tillman's Corner, I believe, is where Rangeline Road is. So y'all go see Cordell and his crew at Cloud9 Vapes and tell them we sent you for a 10% discount. Hey. Tell them you heard it on Sweet Home Cannabama.
Come on, Cordell.
I know. Well, he's just so happy to be back in business.
Yeah.
You had a shop. I had a shop. We've been doing this, and it's been a real rough, 14 months now?
Yeah, it is. Well, Cordell's not as tight as he looks.
No,
All right, good. Hey.
Cordell is actually awesome. He is an awesome guy. He's got a bunch of little girls, and man, I feel sorry for him in about 10 years when they get old enough to date.
When they get old enough to get married and have to pay for weddings.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I got one graduating, and it ain't cheap to do that either.
No, adulting ain't cheap, period.
No, everything's high too, man. It took me 2 hours to get here. Thank you, tourists. And
what would we do without them?
Well, I know. I was thinking, you can't be mad at them because our economy depends on them. But man, they cannot drive, and that tunnel, it must be so scary. And I'm like, you know what gets you through the tunnel faster?
That's a phenomenon.
Go the speed limit. Exactly. Get out of here.
Why is it that just at some point of the day you approach the tunnel and it's backed up, but you get to the other side and there's nothing? Like, what the hell is that?
It's like it's going to collapse in on you. Yeah. And it's been here for like 100 years.
Dude, How many tubes have you not driven through in your lifetime anyway? It's just follow the car in front of you, dumb bunny.
I
right?
think probably, we got the Redneck Riviera down here. So we got people down from Canada even to vacation here.
Yeah.
And I don't know where there's a whole lot of tunnels in this world. I really don't.
But I mean, you just drive the dang speed limit and follow the car in front of you. I don't.
It is infuriating. It is. But it took me 2 hours to get here. And holy crap, man. I don't know. I was so worried about being late. Anyway, we got a lot of business to get to. Uh-oh. So John's going to help me get through these current events. The first thing is federal rescheduling. We have been talking about will they, won't they? We have been saying we don't want to reschedule. We want to deschedule. And then in December, Trump gave his executive order and then decided, y'all are dragging your feet. Let's get it done. So this week, he had an executive order about ibogaine and psilocybin as well for PTSD and for veterans. And then the next day, I think it was, went ahead and they moved to Schedule 3, and the Attorney General actually signed the order. So that was on April 23rd. It reclassifies FDA-approved marijuana products, which is there one or two? There's Marinol, there's Epidiolex.
There's a very small few.
Yeah.
And they're high-powered drugs but it's
synthetic THC.
Absolutely.
So FDA-approved marijuana products and state-licensed medical marijuana into Schedule 3, reducing federal restrictions and expanding research. This does not legalize cannabis. It's still federally illegal. You will still go to prison. It did not expunge records. It did not decriminalize. It did not even do anything for the smaller mom and pop dispensaries around the country. And basically, it removed the 280E tax burden, which, and I think I heard it explained today, they were taxing their gross revenue instead of their profit.
Correct.
And so a lot of these companies are paying 50, 60% taxes, which makes it incredibly difficult to make a profit and keep going.
When other companies and other industries are paying 10 and 12%.
And writing off a bunch of stuff too,
yeah,
you know?
And you can't
if you can't write off payroll and rent, you sure can't write off charitable donations and all the things that companies do to avoid paying Uncle Sam. So basically they'll be able to write off normal business expenses. And for these big multi-state operators, that's going to be millions, even billions of dollars in tax breaks, whereas a mom and pop shop is not going to see a huge chunk of change. And so it'll be easier for these giant, companies. Like in Florida, there's like two main companies that supply all the medical cannabis for the whole state. They're going to get a windfall.
Ding, ding, ding.
And then it'll be easier for universities and people to research it, which is great, but it doesn't change anything for the average citizen. And unless they take that windfall from 280E being eased up and that translates into cheaper products, it's not going to help anybody, regular folks.
Let me clue everyone in. No, you're right. The only benefit to regular folks is go find a federally funded study for cannabis, get online and buy the hell out of weed.
Right.
I don't know. Just listen to me. Listen to what I'm telling you. Because this did nothing essentially for us, the people. Like you said, it doesn't legalize cannabis federally or whatever. What it does is it reclassifies for FDA approved products, just like you said. And there's only a small few, and they're needed, but then it's state licensed medical marijuana, right?
Right, which means recreational cannabis that is legal in states like California, Colorado, Michigan. The recreational or adult use is still Schedule 1.
Right. But
so now you got the same plant in two different schedules.
Right. But it has to be state licensed.
Right.
Right. It's got to go through the state's medical program, not a hemp program, not anything else.
Right.
And we all know that the big MSOs are the ones that are now going to swoop in.
Yeah.
Because for me, the door has just now been opened for Big Canna to move right in and begin to scoop up things and to take their money and their influence.
Mm-hmm.
And this, like you saying, what are the other things that came out of this? The research.
Right.
Now, this is something people need to know about just moving forward. Anytime you see something, social media or otherwise, that says studies show that cannabis, they're lying.
Right.
You couldn't study it in America for 100 years. Which study are you referring to? Right?
Which is it?
But
That's
you
exactly
see people
right.
make that quote, but no one ever challenges them on it. I'm like, well, where'd the study come from? Because,
right.
So anyway, but what all that does is it allows big pharma now and the MSOs to come in and create medical networks to do research.
Yep.
I mean, those guys have the deep pockets. They've got the money to do it like that.
Yeah. Well, that leads to one of my other points, and I'm going to skip ahead to it. But today, I think it was today, all of a sudden, boom, the DEA has this new website where it's a new medical marijuana dispensary registration portal. Came out of nowhere. It goes live on April 29th at 9 a.m. and it allows state licensed dispensaries to apply for federal Schedule III protections. And I'm not even sure what that means.
It doesn't mean anything. They want you to register and become part of a national net, just like they did with the pharmacy network.
Right.
You go they want you to do they want to know all about your business. They want to be in your business, right?
Yeah.
This is just more government control, more government in your business.
It's a $794 annual fee. You have to submit security plans, storage protocols, state license verification, supplier list, background checks on anybody that has anything to do with that business. And it's part of the federal transition toward regulated medical cannabis oversight.
Hey, guess what? Why don't you just keep all that stuff in a locked box at your store and don't spend the $800 a year? And if they ever come calling,
well, right. I mean, you have to have that information anyway.
That's my point.
Get approved for the license.
That's my point. They just want your information.
Right, exactly. They want a database. When we come back from the break, more news and current events. Stay with us.
Hey, Cannabama fans, are you lost and looking for a licensed hemp retailer in Mobile and Baldwin County? Look no further. Cloud9 Vapes has 2 licensed locations, one in Sims and one in Daphne, and are now serving up the relief you need. From edibles and drinks to vapes and topical creams, Cloud9 has the products you need on both sides of the bay with more to come. Go to cloud9vapesllc.com for more information.
A dog? I'm not. I was born for a purpose, to bring you hope, to guide you out of darkness, to stand by you as you rediscover life. When past battles cloud your mind, I push them away. You tell me I'm your hero, just as you are mine. You hold me when you're afraid, whisper that I saved you. With me by your side, no challenge is too great, no night too dark. I'm your guide, your companion, your friend, your light. A dog? I'm not. With me, you see the world again.
Discover hope at Dogs Inc. Visit us at dogsinc.org to learn more.
Welcome back to Sweet Home Cannabama. Now with all the information you want about cannabis, here's your host, Jennifer Boozer.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm here with John Fischer, and we are talking about news and current events. May the 4th is a big day in Alabama. Callie's Apothecary, the very first medical cannabis dispensary in Montgomery, very first in the state, is opening. They're having their grand opening in Montgomery after nearly 5 years of delays. And so the program remains highly restrictive. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, we can't smoke. What can we do? Only tablets, tinctures, oil patches, peach flavored gummies, no smokable products. It's just crazy to me with Mississippi and Florida on either side.
That's not
absolutely crushing it.
That's not the craziest part.
Well, no, but right now there's, I don't have any more updated information than this, but we're only about 66 patients that were signed up and qualified, and between 40 and 50 doctors statewide, but only one dispensary. So, and they're not sure. I haven't heard a single word about any of the other three. Each of the dispensary license holders gets 3 locations. This company is one company, one location. I don't know whether other 2 are going to be, when they're going to open, and we haven't heard anything at all about the other 2 license holders. The 4th license is held up in court, like the integrated facility guys. So who knows, but hopefully by the end of the year, they say. Of course, how many years in a row have we heard by the end of the year, we're going to have cannabis on the, on the way. But no information whatsoever. So this is where the logjam is going to be.
Well, here's
one dispensary. I mean, those 66 people are not all in Montgomery. You know,
the log. Yeah, you're right. This is ridiculous. I told Senator Melson this back in 2020 that in 5 years y'all will never have sold a gram.
And here we are.
Medical marijuana. I told him that on the phone, whether he'll admit it or not. But the point to me is that you said something a second ago, and I don't mean to digress, but I do. No smokable flower, no smokable product. Now, I lived in Hawaii for 5 years, and I had a knee replaced. I had a knee revision. I had a MRSA staph infection from the knee revision surgery, and had another surgery in emergency. Through all of that, I had doctors refer me to cannabis, to a cannabis, my orthopedic surgeon to the cannabis doctor, who then sent me to the dispensary for pain. And this is you said, well, when you said it, it struck me hard, right? And I sat over here with my lips shut, but no smokable flower. Okay. I went through everything in the dispensary in Hawaii, and the only thing that relieves my pain is smokable flower.
And a lot of people agree with you.
It is the cheapest. It's not processed.
Right.
I don't have to pay you to touch it.
It's the most natural form.
It's the cheapest, most efficient, most effective, and it is the most natural state, right?
And most bioavailable.
But here's the thing. The state of Hawaii gave me a card that the governor signed, right? Then the governor has scientists and doctors on staff. They gave me a card that said, John, marijuana is good for medicine. Go in that dispensary and get you some flower to smoke.
Right.
Okay. Now,
with our blessing.
Then I go to another state and they issue me a visiting medical card, and they say, go in there and John, get you some flower to smoke. And there's flower. So then I fast forward and I move here to Alabama, and I'm like, well, it's been 5 years. Maybe they'll get this. And look at, lo and behold, 1.5 years later, look what happens. But they don't have flower.
Right.
Jennifer, here's what I'm telling you. And I hope anybody that's listening, people have to get serious. You have to apply constitutional protections to this stuff. And what do I mean? Equal protection under the Constitution. All citizens should be treated equally in the same or similar circumstances. What does that mean? There are 41 states in America that have legalized marijuana, either recreationally or medically, that allow you to smoke it. 41 out of 50. Okay. Now, for a government, now I say that it is my deeply religious held belief and right to smoke cannabis or to use it or grow it. Genesis 1:29 and others. I got a whole list of them. I firmly believe that the Bible is the inerrant word of God, and he said that that's mine.
Right.
Now, I believe that Alabama's law, by saying, oh, marijuana is good for medicine, but you can only drink it, you can only have a peach gummy, you can stick it up your butt, or you can rub it on your face, okay?
Yeah.
The fact that they deny me the right to smoke it, I believe is a violation of my constitutional right that is equally protected in 41 other states.
Right.
Now, if I say that in court, then the state of Alabama must come forward with a compelling governmental interest, strict scrutiny of a constitutional violation, compelling governmental interest as to why they should be allowed to ban me from smoking it.
Right.
There is none.
Right.
You got 41 states that said it's good. So this conversation needs to change.
Well, and now the federal government has recognized formally that it has medicinal value.
You can't go backwards. They've known it for 100 years.
Of course they have.
They've known it for 100 years.
Now it's official in writing.
Yeah. Oh crap! The cat's out of the bag.
Right.
We got to catch up with the
Well,
rest of
I was thinking about that too. It is 41 states. It's the majority of the country. Yeah. And the public safety argument drives me absolutely bonkers, because these people in these state programs and adult use is whatever, they don't keep track of it like they do in medical, but just in the medical cannabis programs, because all 41 of those states have at least medical.
Yes.
Whether or not they have adult use is irrelevant here, but every one of those patients, every one of those seeds, clones, plants, every gram and drop and edible, every ounce of that stuff is tracked from seed to sale, and the people are tracked. Can you show me one person in those millions of people who have been in these programs for 20 years now? Where are the dead people? Where are the people who are losing their minds?
You can't.
You can't.
It doesn't exist.
What's more definitive than that? They're the ones collecting the data.
I mean,
and then coming back and going, oh, but it'll make you go crazy.
No. I'm telling you, you should, and I don't mean to say this, I really don't. So, but be in my shoes. Dude, I smoked a lot of marijuana for pain relief. And then actually I learned it was a substitute for alcohol and PTSD. And that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother show. Mm-hmm. But to come home, if you will, to Alabama, and your own home state embraces your pain, because this is surgery number 7.
Right.
But your own home state embraces you and your pain by saying, hey, buddy, not marijuana. We want you to go back to the pills and alcohol.
Exactly.
We think pills and alcohol are a better solution for you. And it's one thing to talk about it, but I literally sat down one day after I'd been home for weeks and just thought, what in the world is going on?
Right.
Anyway,
it doesn't make it any classier that the state directly benefits from you being on alcohol. But anyway,
we digress.
We do digress. Let's get some more highlights here. Native Black cultivation makes Alabama's first legal medical cannabis sale. Our good friend Antoine Mordican, who is the CEO of Native Black Cultivation, he will be on the show next week. But he was able to deliver Alabama's first legal medical cannabis biomass to the processor Homestead Health on April 10th. And the biomass undergoes 2 to 3 weeks of testing and formulation, making the products that will go on the shelf of the first dispensary. So congratulations to Antoine. And this is the first real activation of the supply chain, cultivation, processing, dispensary shelves. So, it may be, slow and painful like a kidney stone, but it's moving.
It is, and the big thing is getting enough demand, enough products. And so
well, like it says, 66 patients ain't going to pay their light bill either.
No, and that's like this Cali's.
We did 66 customers in a day.
By noon, right. But that's, I really hope well for this Cali's Apothecary and others. I believe, unfortunately, they were sold a bill of goods.
I do too.
Because they showed them revenue, I guarantee you, on models that included smokable flower.
Absolutely.
And that's 50 to 60% of any business.
And they probably were also sold, we're going to start with this.
Yeah.
And then in 1 year, we'll reevaluate.
In 2 years.
Here we are 5 years later, and they are so deep in the hole in this.
Right.
I cannot imagine the nerves of steel these people and their investors have had to have. That's how you know that this has universal value to all people. For their investors to know that it's okay if I'm losing hundreds of thousands of dollars a month.
I've invested $30 million.
And I'm not giving it up, because when we can go, it's going to be great.
They know the long play. But for Antoine, congratulations to Antoine being able to move the biomass and get it processed.
And I have been privy to conversation with him almost a daily basis for years now. And I have so much respect for him, and I know the ups and downs. He's had a set of twins in the middle of all this and has to provide for his family and build this business and do all the other things. I can't imagine, even knowing him and hearing what he does express to me, how stressful that is for a man to not know which way is up some days, and to have the validation of getting to sell, because I know he was growing and he was having to save it up and store it up and keep it and paying those fees and not getting a single penny in return. So I'm incredibly happy for Antoine. I'm happy for the people that own Callie's Apothecary and the ones that are probably desperately trying to open.
Right.
You know, and for the patients that do get help from that can afford to go to the doctor, get a card, pay the prices, and travel the miles. You know, I'm happy for them, but I still don't see why they had to trample on what we were doing in order to get that as well.
Well, there's no such thing as medical or recreational. It's one plant. It ought to be one policy.
Right.
And we ought to stop this farce.
Right.
It's not.
These are legal definitions that are literally making and breaking, picking winners and losers. And really, at the end of the day, as much as we've lost as business owners, it's the people of Alabama that lose every time. It's the people of the states like Idaho who won't even consider even really good hemp legislation, much less medical cannabis. When we come back from the break, more with John Fischer. Stay with us.
FM Talk 1065, the Gulf Coast Weather Authority, and Dr. Bill Williams.
The Gulf Coast can expect mostly cloudy skies tonight. Low temperatures will be in the upper 60s at daybreak. For Tuesday, mostly sunny with highs in the mid-80s. And the outlook for Wednesday, partly cloudy with a slight chance of a shower and highs in the upper 80s. This is meteorologist Dr. Bill Williams for FM Talk 1065.
FM Talk 1065, the Gulf Coast Weather Authority.
I'm Roseanne Haven from WKRG News 5. Foley police have charged a man with kidnapping. They arrested 42-year-old Grant Barrett of Gulf Breeze. He's accused of taking a 71-year-old man he knows to Foley against his will and threatening to use force. Police say the victim was not hurt. They also charged Barrett with marijuana possession and criminal mischief. Mobile police are looking for suspects who shot a man during a burglary yesterday morning on Holmes Drive. Investigators say the men entered the home, held the victim at gunpoint, and demanded money. He escaped, but two men allegedly followed and fired shots as he ran, seriously injuring him. No arrest in another shooting. Someone shot a man at the intersection of Greenlawn and Knollwood Road Saturday morning. I'm Roseanne Haven from WKRG News 5. Local coverage you can count on.
Hey, Cannabama fans, are you lost and looking for a licensed hemp retailer in Mobile and Baldwin County? Look no further. Cloud9 Vapes has 2 licensed locations, one in Sims and one in Daphne, and are now serving up the relief you need. From edibles and drinks to vapes and topical creams, Cloud9 has the products you need on both sides of the bay with more to come. Go to cloud9vapesllc.com for more information.
Welcome back to Sweet Home Cannabama. Now with all the information you want about cannabis, here's your host, Jennifer Boozer.
Welcome back, everybody. Tonight, we're sitting here with John Fischer talking about current events in hemp and cannabis. I want to speed through the rest of these because we've got some lawsuit action to talk about here in South Alabama. Rand Paul has a new hemp legislation keeping the power within the states. You know, the continuing resolution, Mitch McConnell snuck in this language that is basically going to wipe out all hemp products, full spectrum products. 0.4 milligrams of total THC means nothing is legal, not even CBD. So Senator Rand Paul introduced the Hemp Safety Enforcement Act. It allows states to opt out of federal hemp restrictions and regulate hemp-derived products independently. Now, because the state of Alabama is one of 40 states that has a hemp pilot program, we already have that privilege. So just like we have legalized medical cannabis, even though it's federally illegal, we can keep the rules of HB 445 or make new rules, hopefully, that will keep our hemp program alive despite what the federal regulations are. You know, I hope that the federal government doesn't continue to use this ridiculous language And that brings me to Donald Trump's. He made a tweet. However you feel about the man, he is the president. But he's urging Congress to protect full spectrum CBD access, warning that these upcoming federal changes could remove widely used therapeutic products. He's also got this new initiative allowing eligible Medicare patients to receive $500 a year for hemp-derived CBD products. And so you can't have both things. You can't have a full spectrum CBD program for Medicare for seniors and also have that federal language stay in place, because one negates the other. I just also want to remind everybody, this is an election year. If ever there was a place where we could make a difference in this state, that is it. And so the deadline to register to vote in the May 19th primary is May 4th, which is next Monday. So I want to make sure that everybody listening, if you need to register to vote, please register to vote. If you need to update your information, please do that. And please go vote. Please. Oh my God, please.
Right.
And then of course, next week, we are relaunching Sweet Home Cannabama radio show and partnering with a media company out of Arizona who I have been working with off and on other projects. And we are going to revamp the way we do the show. And I will have twice a month, we will have a guest segment with Vernell Vernado, also known as Papa Snoop. He is the dad of Snoop Dogg. And maybe you've heard of him. And then a Dr. Dana
The dad. Just say Snoop's dad.
Snoop's dad. Well, he's called Papa Snoop. That's what he goes by.
Snoop Dogg.
Oh, shut up. Got my tongue twisted here. He's Papa Snoop, okay? It's self-explanatory.
Right?
Yes. And then Dr. Dana, who is an expert in holistic medicine and elderly health care. She knows a lot about the plants. And I cannot wait to get to know her better because we have a lot of geeked out, things in common. Like I'm obsessed with learning about parasites and cleansing and things like that. So I cannot wait to get them on the show. But they'll be here twice a month. And we're going to be doing a whole lot of stuff that's different. And I'm really excited about it. So I hope you'll join us and tell your family and friends to join us. Papa Snoop is a decorated Vietnam War veteran. And he is a cannabis business owner. And he does movies. And he's a fantastic human being. I got to meet him the other day for the first time and have conversation. I'm really excited. And Dr. Dana is a wealth of knowledge and a medical professional. So they're going to add so much value to the show. And I'm really excited for that. So that will be starting next week as well. May the 4th. Like I said, May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. Because it's going to be with us.
Right.
Anyway, so John, I had you come in.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you called me and said that you were filing a lawsuit on behalf of a hemp business owner in Baldwin County. So tell us a little bit about that, and then we're going to get into the nuts and bolts.
Well, and thank you for that.
Yeah.
Because it's not, I look at this, it's not just this guy, it's you.
It absolutely could be me.
Well,
yeah.
But it's all of the people.
Absolutely.
Well, it's everybody that had a store that's now lost it
Mm-hmm.
because the state is misapplying the law. And that's what caused everybody to be afraid to be in business.
Right.
Their misapplication and misenforcement of the law
Mm-hmm.
caused fear in people that have been doing this for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Generational almost stuff. This was a situation where you got a guy in Baldwin County, has a hemp store, or has a store selling completely legal hemp and hemp products. What do you mean by that? Well, it goes back to this new HB 445 that passed.
Right.
The only thing everybody made this big fluff about HB 445. It only did two things. It created a subcategory of hemp products that didn't exist before called consumable, and it gave very minimal delegation of its duty to ABC to oversee only consumable.
Right. The drinks, the edibles, the tinctures.
Yeah, and you're right. Anything you eat, drink, or put on your skin or hair. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Not inhale.
Mm-hmm.
Not build the houses with.
Right.
Not make rope out of.
Right.
Right. So but everybody, for some reason, everybody just this monumental brain fart, right?
Right.
All it did was create consumable and let ABC regulate that like they regulate alcohol. Nothing else.
Right.
Everything else is left to the Alabama Department of Ag and Industry to enforce and regulate. And, this guy had a store just like you and other people. However, he was selling 100% legal products. What do I mean? Nothing in there was consumable. There were no edible products. There was nothing, no tinctures, nothing like that, because that has to come through a licensed dispensary after January 1st. So what did he have? He had hemp in bags. Hemp on a shelf, hemp.
Right.
The label said it was not smokable.
Right.
It is not marketed or intended for human or animal consumption. It is it says this is an agricultural product. This is not a controlled. I mean, everything in the state and federal law was on the labels.
Right. Right.
But yet the law enforcement officers came in the front door and literally looked at him, took 20 pounds of product, told him that, and he begged them. He said, I have COAs. It's hemp. This is not illegal. It's not a controlled substance. It's not marijuana.
And it's not even part of HB 445.
We have no matches, no lighters. We have no pipes. We have no papers. There's nothing. It's not smokable. I mean, regurgitating all of the law to them.
Right.
And
which probably they hadn't read themselves.
No, it doesn't matter because this is recorded, and it's sad to hear. But the cop said, we don't care what you see or say. We read the law differently. And he said, every time you have hemp on a shelf, we're going to come get it. And my client said, well, what about if I put it back? He said, I'm not marketing it. If I put it, and the guy said, look, and this is what it's quote, it's on the tape. If you put it back on the shelf, we're going to come back and get it. And next time we will arrest you. See, this time we're not going to arrest you right now, but
and that's what I don't understand. If they've got 20 pounds of bud that they say is illegal, why wasn't he put in jail?
Why
weren't all those people that got busted in June when Steve Marshall flexed?
Because I think they don't really understand. They're not sure what they're doing.
Well, they must know that they can't charge these people.
Well,
and isn't it true that when they seize your property or your cash, which is all they ever take,
right,
that you have to petition them and go through this whole process
So
to get it back?
Fast forward. So here's what happens. Thank you for that. So when law enforcement comes into your place of business and takes products, they are taking them under the allegation that these products are the direct result of illegal activity.
Right.
Okay.
That's the reason they can do it.
That's the Condemnation and Civil Forfeiture Act. So then they take those products, they confiscate them, they carry them back to their little lair, and then they file a lawsuit called a condemnation action. And they're asking the judge to judge these things were seized, they're illegal, and or they came from illegal activity, and we need you to condemn them and give them to us. So that's what they're asking for.
Right.
And Jen, years ago, most people did not fight the civil forfeiture side of a drug case.
Right.
Okay.
You're too busy fighting to stay out of prison.
A guy's guilty. He's got 2 pounds of cocaine.
Right.
In 200,000 in cash. He's like, "Here, take it." But see, that's the old draconian mindset model. But now that you have the farm bill that said hemp is no longer marijuana, well, guys, you got to stop acting like it is.
Right.
But they've not. The law enforcement and their tactics have not caught up with the law and where we actually are. And so that's what this is a result of. They filed a lawsuit, and in their complaint, that's why I've asked the court to give me more guidance. They said, we found what we believe to be either hemp or marijuana. I mean, that's their quote.
Right.
Well, I need to know which one is it, because hemp is legal unless you market it as a smokable product.
Right, because if you believe it could be hemp, then you knowingly just violated this man's rights.
It's because it's not marijuana if it's hemp, right?
Right, and it's not illegal, and you just admitted to doing that. But if you think it is marijuana, then prove it.
Yeah, you don't get to just come take everything out of the store and then come back and say, "Oh, we made a mistake."
Well, they could pull me over with a bag of sugar in my purse, and
Yeah.
When I travel, I take creamer and sugar and my coffee pods.
You're that.
And I'm always like, if TSA opens my bag and sees a Ziploc bag full of sugar. Are they going to like throw me to the ground?
Josh, you didn't have a chance, buddy. I'm sorry. No.
But I mean, they got to at least open the bag and see what's in it. You know. So what? It looks the same.
I mean, it really is kind of crazy that they literally put in a pleading to the court that it was either or, not understanding the legal ramification of which. So back in the day, under the old criminal realm, people used to just not fight it.
Right.
But now this is a situation where this guy, we believe wholeheartedly, he's not committed a crime. There's nothing criminal about what he's doing. You've just taken my stuff. I'm fighting to get it back. See, that sort of dichotomy didn't used to exist.
Right.
But over the last 10 or 20 years, you've had more of that. And over time, this is to the credit of the Alabama Supreme Court. I will give them that. They have tightened the forfeiture laws against the state that said, you just can't come in here anymore and say, oh, I got 20 pounds of weed and $100,000 because it was from illegal drug sales.
Right.
No, they said, no,
just because we said so.
Exactly. Now the Supreme Court and the Court of Civil Appeals has said that you must prove a direct and substantial relationship between the stuff and an illegal activity.
Right.
They don't have it.
Right.
And so that's why we're pushing back. And it's also to sort of prove, and I'll get into the deck action part, but they filed the lawsuit. We had to answer. I answered back, I can't answer because is it hemp or marijuana?
Right.
So, but then I
make a decision.
So then I filed a separate lawsuit to address the deck action that we can talk about.
Yeah.
So that's what it was.
I mean, I think one of the more devastating results of so many of us, not only the ones of us that totally went out of business, but whose businesses were hurt financially so badly with the loss of flower as a smokable product and with not having a license available in January until March and April. We don't have the resources to sue the state.
Right. No,
I can't afford you, dude.
Well, no. And I get it. And it's frustrating. Especially when you feel like you're not doing anything illegal.
When we come back, we're going to finish up with John Fischer. Stay with us.
Hey, Cannabama fans, are you lost and looking for a licensed hemp retailer in Mobile and Baldwin County? Look no further. Cloud9 Vapes has 2 licensed locations, one in Sims and one in Daphne, and are now serving up the relief you need. From edibles and drinks to vapes and topical creams, Cloud9 has the products you need on both sides of the bay with more to come. Go to cloud9vapesllc.com for more information.
Right arm, right leg.
Left leg, left arm.
Both legs above the knee.
Both legs, part of my left hand.
Lost both my legs in Iraq.
These 9/11 veterans are just a few of the heroes we serve at Homes for Our Troops. For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes with features like wheelchair access, roll-in showers, and pull-down cabinets that allow them to function independently and focus on their recovery and family. This life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans, thanks to our donors and supporters. But we need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Welcome back to Sweet Home Cannabama. Now with all the information you want about cannabis, here's your host, Jennifer Boozer.
Welcome back to Sweet Home Cannabama. We're here with John Fischer talking about a lawsuit that was filed on behalf of a business in Baldwin County. You said the state has absolutely no evidence of marijuana or controlled substances.
Correct.
What evidence is missing if that should have been there? If it was a legitimate seizure, I mean, he offered them COAs,
and that's the other thing, and that's where I think that that's where I hope at some point something's done. He begged these guys to please look at my proof,
right?
And I will say this: law enforcement officers have a tough job. I get it,
right?
But by the same token, their bosses need to prepare them better for the job that they're doing.
Absolutely.
And in this particular instance in the state of Alabama, especially in Baldwin County, and I'm really surprised after what happened last May, I'm really surprised that they continue to duck their head in the sand and continue to come out with these draconian operations when they know good and well there's something not right about this situation.
Right.
But no, there's no marijuana, there's no controlled substance, there's no controlled buy. They will not have an investigation where they've been,
right.
There's no
undercover buys.
No, there's nothing. My guy just bought product from he's been buying this product from the same certified hemp farmer on the West Coast for 7 years.
Right. Come on now.
It's a certified hemp farm.
Right.
And he has COAs for every product they took.
Yeah.
And they just simply, and it's on tape. We don't want to see them.
Well, how significant is that refusal legally? I mean, is it going to hurt them in court to be able to show that the owner, because anytime the ABC board comes in, they're going to want to see your COAs. They're going to want, that's the first thing they want to see. They want to look at the shelves and see that everything on there matches the law. So they just refuse to acknowledge the COAs. How does that work?
Right. It doesn't. First and foremost, what everyone has to go back to is that in 2016-17, right, the Alabama Industrial Hemp Program, when they established it, they said that the Alabama Department of Agriculture and Industry is the exclusive state agency responsible for all of the enforcement and regulation of hemp in Alabama.
Yeah.
That is still state law. So only the Department of Ag and Industry is allowed to walk into a place and touch hemp. No law enforcement officer. And that's why it was so important in the beginning when they split it and said hemp is an agricultural crop, no longer a control. That's the whole point.
Right.
That moved hemp under ag and industry, marijuana under the police.
Right.
But they want to act as though that never happened. And
right. And it's all still the same thing.
It's not. And it's infuriating to have to keep walking through this with these guys.
Yeah. How has the raid affected Mr. Stinson personally, professionally? I mean, I know 20 pounds. I don't know what he was paying per pound, but I know what I was paying per pound. That's a lot of money.
Let me just tell you, I mean, it financially, you're talking between $100,000 and $200,000 between product and cash.
Right, because it was almost $100 in cash.
And so you can imagine, and he had only been open maybe 6 months.
Oh my gosh.
And he was doing really well. And you can imagine the momentum, the 12 cars with lights and they're doing that on purpose. But I will say this, the community has been resilient.
Yeah.
My client is extremely resilient and has pivoted and has done things because he wants to be legal and do the right thing.
Exactly. We all do.
And the community has seen that and they've supported him and they're still coming back, even though, and so that's been a really nice thing.
Yeah.
But feelings ain't finances. Let's be honest.
If feelings can pay the bills, I wouldn't be.
So as good as it feels to have the support, and it really does, it doesn't replace the money nor the psychological toll of being told, if you do something legal again, we're going to arrest you.
Yeah.
I mean,
right. You weren't doing anything wrong in the first place, but we don't care. We took all your stuff. We made you a pariah. You couldn't go forward like you were doing. And if you do that again, which is totally legal, we're going to do this all over
again. And then
again.
they say, well, and we're going to present this to the grand jury and they'll determine whether you're going to get arrested this time or not. And it's like,
it's not really up to anybody but the regulatory board.
Well,
really,
in this particular instance, it's up to the Alabama Department of Ag and Industry to come in and see what the product is on the shelf and what the condition is, and to determine whether it's safe or not to sell it, or do you have to destroy it. It is. We've used the examples of lipstick and Revlon. Ag and Industry regulates anything that you put on your face. All that.
Right.
Fine. If lipstick goes to CVS, if it's spoiled or if you take it home and it melts your face off.
Right. It has acid in it and burns you.
Exactly. They don't go arrest the manager at CVS.
No, they pull the product.
Pull it off the shelf and then they contact the manufacturer and say, hey, what happened to this lot?
Right.
There's no criminal, and that's what I'm saying. That's this whole draconian mindset that these guys have got to stop applying to an agricultural product in an industry.
Right. Do you think that this is going to keep happening? I mean, I haven't heard a ton. There were lots of raids, 7 or 8 raids right before the law went into effect. Haven't heard a whole lot since then. Do you think that, do you think it's important to win this case so that other counties will go, didn't work so well for Baldwin County?
No. That's just it. There's only one way to read and interpret the law.
Right.
So what we did in this particular case, they filed the complaint. We have not filed an answer. We have filed what's called a motion for more definite statement, because I say that their complaint is so confusing, we can't answer.
Right.
But in a separate lawsuit, we filed what's called a complaint for a declaratory judgment action.
Mm-hmm.
And what that in the law is it says, Judge, this is the law. These are our facts. There's no dispute in either one.
Right.
We need you to declare, because they say the law means they can take all hemp. I say they can't. ADAI is the only one that can touch it except ABC, but that's only for consumables.
Right.
And so I have asked a circuit court judge in Baldwin County. We filed the deck action and said, Judge, tell us which one's right, me or them.
Right.
So there's only going to be one answer to this question.
Well, because there's only one that's written in stone.
And they have to go back and it's going to be elementary law school 101 statutory construction. You read plain language and plain definitions, and that's what you apply to them. And I'm telling you right now, I am pretty convinced that at the end of the day, the court will rule ultimately that the Alabama Department of Ag and Industry is the only agency that has the right to regulate hemp. And what the law enforcement officers is doing is outside the scope of their jurisdiction. That's what gets me to, in the deck action, we can file and request damages. So I've asked for $1.25.
That was my next question, is what are you asking for?
I'm asking for $1 million, $250,000 in, compensatory damages for his business and his emotions, which, that's really not
right. Yeah.
But then $1 million in hit them in the mouth and tell them don't do this again.
Right.
Because, but once it's determined, it's determined for the whole state. This is not.
That's precedent.
Well, now, and if they get it wrong, meaning if they disagree with me, hey, I said that. If they get it wrong, we'll go to the Court of Civil Appeal and ultimately the Alabama Supreme Court.
Right.
But I will just tell you this. I have checked my law sources. I use the counsel of a very wise retired appellate court justice. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Right. You have a team of people that aren't going to let you, step out of bounds on this and let you make a fool of yourself.
Right. And I reluctantly, because I was afraid.
Well,
right?
I mean, we all are. When you brought this to me, I was like, what if people get mad at me for talking about this? I live in Baldwin County.
But it is what it is. And when this gentleman came back, he said, no, you're right. That's what the law reads. And that he actually said the legislator apparently created this nightmare because they're the ones that drafted all the laws.
Well, and they were so busy drafting 8 different bills and, colluding with each other and never actually checking with people that knew what they were doing. They don't know. They still don't know what they passed, in my opinion.
They don't, because they wouldn't sit down and talk to us.
Right.
Or not the proverbial people on our side.
Right.
So that mutually we could really craft good legislation.
Right. Thank you so much, John, for being here with us tonight. We got about a minute to go.
Thank you.
This is important because, like you said, when you win this, it will be protection for all of us.
It applies.
And it will clarify for so many people, because I know a lot of people listening are going, wait, what?
Yeah, right.
Every time we talk about this, I learned something different. Thank you again to our sponsors at Cloud9 and Sims, Daphne, and Mobile. If you need hemp products, go see them. Tell us we sent you and get a 10% discount. And I know they got new refrigerators over at the airport location, and they've got those peanut butter cups we had on the show last week. And they're doing a great job, and they have fought the good fight with these licenses. And man, Cordell having 4 locations, he spent a lot of money and a lot of effort to be able to serve the people of Mobile and Baldwin County. So go see Cloud9 Vapes and mark your calendars for Sweet Home Cannabama relaunch next week with Papa Snoop, Dr. Dana, and Antoine Mordican. God bless you. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Ms. Boozer.
And God bless Alabama hemp and cannabis. Good night.
Hey, Cannabama fans, are you lost and looking for a licensed hemp retailer in Mobile and Baldwin County? Look no further. Cloud9 Vapes has 2 licensed locations, one in Sims and one in Daphne, and are now serving up the relief you need. From edibles and drinks to vapes and topical creams, Cloud9 has the products you need on both sides of the bay with more to come. Go to cloud9vapesllc.com for more information.
Change doesn't wait. Why should you? Welcome to the Gaia Guild, Global Action Impact Awareness. At GaiaGuild.com, thousands are coming together. Creators, innovators, changemakers, building a future that matters. Your membership unlocks events, classes, and connections that spark action. And explore the G3 collection and exclusive guild merch at GaiaGuild.shop. This isn't just talk, it's movement and action. Gaia Guild. Join today. Become a guilder. Visit GaiaGuild.shop.
Coming May 4th, 2026, Sweet Home Cannabama Radio gets a reboot with ongoing appearances by Papa Snoop and Dr. Dan, special segments for veterans, seniors, recovery, and the latest information about plant medicine. We are giving you more. Join us every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central on FM Talk 106.5 on the Gulf Coast, or watch us live on YouTube.